Hey everyone, Prestige here, and this week we're not going to be doing an episode of Q&As. One of you submitted a question and it got me thinking, so this week we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So I got a message from some Clint and they said, what is the best way to push as an attacker into a fortress double beige building? So I'm going to just run down a few things from my opinion and my experience on how to push one of these fortress buildings. So you can do this solo or you can do it in pairs. Pairs is always better, or even if you've got a squad. Now, the thing is, you have to think about, are you going to be going loud once you're in? Or are you going to be going loud or trying to avoid going loud? There's an entrance here, leads into a hallway with another door and another entrance on the other side. One window near that door that's small, one on this side, one that's closed, another one on this side, none on the top floor on this side, none on the top floor here, but down the bottom there are some doors here. Now obviously you need to clear each section as you go, and there's going to be a difference between if you're using ranged, close, and so on. You're not going to be pushing in close range with a hunting scope. That's not going to happen. So I put some players into positions that are not exactly common but easy to clear out, and going floor by floor we'll work our way up, and methods and I'll give you some little tips along the way. So first off, obviously you're going to want to clear the floors out, so you're going to want to open the doors to give you some form of surprise on them. So obviously by clearing the doors, where they can be is going to change because they're going to be left open. So if you can clear the bottom floor to get them up into this room at this doorway here, you can start by clearing the other areas. So you know this door's closed, so you can't see anything there, so you need to clear this section. But now that you got this door open, they're not going to hang around. So you have access to here. You have full control down the bottom. So come in, open the door. Now you still have control, so you can go on the outside and clear this side. So coming in, we know there's someone behind this door, which we don't have an angle here, but we know we can get an angle on this side to clear them out. So we know from that corner all the way into that hallway is clear. So all this bottom floor is ours. And without fully entering the building, we can clear this out. So we know from here. Then you can, if there's someone in this corner, obviously there wouldn't be someone in this corner because you're just too exposed. But you will get people that will come onto that bottom door and try and counter peeks from here. So if you have a second person, you can have someone playing on this door while someone else comes along here and takes them out from the window. You can also get them from this window if they're right up in the doorway. And this will give you full access to the bottom floor without fully exposing yourself at every corner. Once you have access to this bottom floor, you can start clearing up the top. And they will be the players in blue. So these players that are in red will be some of the more uncommon spots, but good to clear out just to be safe, unless you catch someone cooking. They're cooking and you catch them off guard and they come in and they're holding the door here while you push. I will do an example from the defending side, but that might be at a later time, maybe not at this stage. Now, you will always get rats that sit up in this corridor, and to clear them, you expose yourself. You will, if you try and swing this door with it open, your gun will kick up, so you need to be back further. But getting through this doorway and aiming can be difficult, considering they will have this angle on you before you get it onto them. So to alleviate the risk, you can come outside, and this here is your hallway. So if you were to stand a couple of meters back and then shoot around this area, the bullet penetration will go through. You may not kill them, but it will be enough. See, as you can see, it's hit him. If that will be enough to push this player back up into the room. So before you've even pushed inside, you have cleared this player. There's also the other player at the top back corner. It's a steeper angle to get to, going from this side. But if you come around to the front face, you can either try and shoot through the floor and get them to push into the room, or fire some shots on the outside just next to this broken piece of exterior wall. Now, you may not get the penetration on this player, but that should be enough to get him to push in. So say you've taken out this first player and you've got control of the bottom part of this doorway. Come up, take out the next player, and this hallway's clear. It's this doorway here where there'll be a player sitting, waiting. So this is the next target to get out. So you can either try the floor bangs, or find a better angle. Now, if they're crouched, obviously that's going to be harder, and sometimes you won't get a chance to. Sometimes they may be crouched and you won't be able to get far enough back to be able to take them out. But there's nothing stopping a few shots through the walls in that direction to try and clear them out of the door. Because you don't want to overexpose yourself when you don't have to. Once you've cleared the hallway, you've got control of the bottom floor. Obviously, you will have to worry about if any people try and come in third party. But you start having to work on up the top. Now, there's a few spots in here that these other players could be. But there are some spots that are common and some spots that aren't so common, and then it's whether or not they're prone. You'll have to play by ear in the situation, whether you just fake them out a couple times to hear the prone shuffle, a crouch shuffle, or a standing shuffle, or if they're holding their breath. You can use these little things to your advantage when making the initial push. But say you come up, you give a little wiggle, check that there's a player there. One thing that is always good practice is if you have the ammo and you can afford to go loud, if you know that there is a player in this corner, start shooting through the wall. And you'll have the drop on them. the penetration, if you can get a stun lock or get some damage on them, they're not going to know what's happening once they're there. If you don't want to do the jiggle peek and you want to just clear it by face checking, that too is fine. You can go in, clear them at crouch height, they compensate for going down. And then from here, to get the rest of the plays, if you know there's still more, there can either be someone hiding in the box, so in the shelf, because that's got cover from both the windows. I'll show you on the outside. So there's the box that's just here. You've got the corner piece that's here, and then the other corner just over here. But this box is the next thing you want to clear out. So the same deal. Base check it, or you can pre-fire it. You can also go through this wall. So if you stand where this doorway is and get yourself, say, a meter and a half away, you'll see there's this line that runs along here. Where this first bit is here, go across one, and you can wall bang through this piece here. Oh, it didn't go through then, but you can use this piece to push them either out of that corner or get ready to face check in there. And same deal, pre-fire your way through each corner when clearing. And then once you have control, then you can loot away, you can, you know, swap out, bandage if you need to bandage, eat food if you need to eat food. Things to take away from this is more than likely to always pre-fire when you have the chance, if ammo's not scarce. Keep an eye and be mindful of common spots and common areas when attacking. Another thing too is you want to be able to stay close. Doorways are really hard because the gun comes up. But if you know roughly where a player is, don't be afraid to fire some shots through the floor just to get them up and moving. If you can get them up and moving, you can catch them off. And then get the drop on them. But yeah, we'll throw up some images of where these common spots people will be, some of the angles. I will go over this again from the defending side to give more an advantage on defending best positions and things along those lines. Another thing too to be considerate is obviously if they're building a base and they've blocked these windows, attacking will be a little bit different. I can't exactly do a guide on that as every base is built different. There could be a wall that's straight across here, or you say you are raiding it and come through, then obviously you're going to be in that animation when going through. So I won't do anything like that. We'll just do this as just a standard push on this building. And as you can see here on the top floor, this is some of the areas that some of these players will go in when they're trying to actively defend you from a push. And then in the hallway, you can have people up in the top corner, in the top doorway, and midway up the stairs. There are other common areas to try and stop people from pushing through. With those, there is the wall bang from the wall on the outside. Like I showed earlier, you can wall bang through that wall. You'll either get some shots on them, potentially a kill, but it will help you push them further in. The more you can get them further in, the better. On the bottom floor, this is some of the areas they could be. I would say it's unlikely that they would try and defend from the bottom floor, as there are too many angles that can go in to make the floor basically useless as a defender due to the windows and the doorways. So a couple things to keep in mind is when you are pushing close quarters, you don't want to have a scope that is zoomed in too far, as you're going to be at a disadvantage. Always remember to pre-fire when you can. Try and use the windows to your advantage in case after you've done a couple of the wall bangs through the wall or fired a few shots through the floor, you might get them moving around and overexpose themselves. If you're in a team, it's perfect to do this and then have someone watching the windows to see if they do make a mistake. Another thing you can do as well is once they are pushed in there, you can set up things like tripwire traps, landmines, and once you've done this, you can then just leave part of the area or get a position, because eventually they will tire out and have to leave, and then you have the upper hand, or they'll have to die of starvation or hunger once they run out of food and supplies, and then you can take your opportunity then. It's more of a patient game as opposed to doing the initial pushes like before. This video will be a little bit different as obviously they're not firing back, but more so just for the principles and a few of the areas. If this video did help you out or you did enjoy it, please press the like button and subscribe, and I'll bring more of these on more different buildings to you, and I'll add some defender sides in the future.